cooked food, have a nice, free the soul, Myrmidon's brother. Except for bracelet 3, I think we can read this. Twice cooked pork, a Szechuan dish. It is made by frying pork, cabbage, and bell peppers and green onions with a doubanjiang or tiangmanjiang for flavor. Paella, Spanish dish where one cooks rice, meat, seafood, and the vegetables, one word, in a shallow pot seasoned with saffron. Ooh. Nasi goreng, an Indonesian dish made with pan-fried fried rice seasoning with sambal. I swear, there's just that one little bit. They could have just added that space bar. It's already hard enough for me to read anyway. Or schnitzel, a German dish. It is made by mixing together meat, flour, eggs, and breadcrumbs. Wiener Schnitzel. It's literally describing food. I'm hungry now. Words 03 says before he leaves. Have a nice trauma, have a nice trace, or have a nice trumpet. I've never heard him say trumpet. Free the Soul. An emerging religious organization with rapidly growing membership. Some figures claim their congregation numbers over 1 million in countries across the world. Originally, the organization called itself Free the Soul of Y, but later dropped of Y to simply become Free the Soul. The founder of the religion is known only as Brother, and his true identity is a mystery. Only a small number of the highest-ranking members have ever seen him. The doctrine of Free the Soul demands that adherents separate themselves from the world, free themselves of lust, and release their souls from their physical bodies so that they can be purified. If followers believe that they will be born again as a new race and that the world will be transformed into a place of equality with no conflict or poverty. Considering how a peaceful world of equality with no conflict or poverty usually plays out in movies, they seem like a pretty scary group of people. I was going to say the first part kind of sounded like Mormonism, where they don't let you see the actual book. Free the Soul is a powerful new religious order dedicated to establishing a new world order, and the Myrmidons are their elite frontline soldiers in that secret war. The general public knows nothing about the Myrmidons, but their actions have put them on watch lists of intelligent communities across the globe. Rumors say that all Myrmidons have the same face, suggesting that they may all be clones of a single person. No one knows where this rumor came from exactly, but I can tell you that's a very credible source. The founder of Free the Soul's name is Brother. Although he prefers not to be referred as such as a child, he had a younger brother whom he was very fond of. Unfortunately, the worst happened and the younger brother was murdered. Rage and despair filled Brother, and for 9 days and 9 nights, number 9, he was consumed by his own misery. On the morning of the 10th day, however, he had a revelation. Mankind was rife with base desires and needed to be purified so that the new world could come into being. God had spoken to Brother and had given him a mission. Brother dedicated his life to realizing that mission, and at the age of 26, he established Free the Soul of Y. He claims that Y is a symbol for miracles. Okay, Bracelet 3 is the... Okay, here's some information that isn't revealed in the game. Am I allowed to know that? It's not revealed in the game. Sure. The bracelet was put on the left wrist of the 9 participants in the Ambidex game. It has an important feature that's never mentioned. As soon as it's put on, a needle on the underside activates and inserts itself into the wearer. That doesn't necessarily mean that it injects a drug, only that it activates and pierces the skin. Maybe there's something on the needle, or maybe there isn't. All that's certain is that when someone puts on a bracelet, they get poked. Okay, we know all that we've gotten to the scotch, and we know that Tenmoji likes scotch, hazmat suits for getting outside. We know the voting machine, we know the penalty, AB game. Making sure we can see floor A and B. We know about floor A and B. Researcher's journal, Jumpy doll. We don't know about Quark's hat. We don't know about those things yet. I think, okay, that's good. That's good, good. Now get me out of here. Oh, I need to actually open the gate, the other, hold on. I didn't put in the other code. Because I'm a dingle. Oh, Accelerator, hi. Look like we got here. First is this. It's a map. Floor B. That was a good room. I liked it. Had to barrel through some of those puzzles, but that was fine. These are moon cards. Give us 2. So Dio takes 1. And then... Okay. Got a notebook. Handy dandy notebook. I can't read any of this. Are these even letters? What the heck is this? Isn't it a journal? It's got dates and stuff. Maybe, but I can't read any of this. What language is it? Who knows? Maybe it's Brazilian? They speak Portuguese in Brazil. Anyway, what else have we got here? Okay, cool notebook. Looks like 2 more things. Accelerator! X-L-A-V-I-R. Axlever? Wait, didn't Luna say something about, Axlever? You're right! This is it! It's a cure for rattlesnakes! Yeah! Let me see that. Later, we need to get out of here as quick as possible. Yeah, I gotta let you handle anything, Dio. First, we gotta get out of this room. That's easy. You got it, right? Yay! Found a key safe! We don't get to do anything with the replicator? That sucks. Love to have done something with the replicator. I think most of the escape rooms we get out in like 45 to an hour.
Hey, hold on a minute.
What do you want?
Nah, I guess there's a couple of things I want to double check. Well, one of them's not really significant, I guess.
Huh?
Go on.
First off, this machine.
Oh yeah, that.
We didn't even end up using this thing, did we?
Duplicate the Accelerator!
I was just wondering what it was.
I just realized there's a thing in the right one. Look at on that side, there's a name or something. IG Replicator.
Replicator makes it sound like it makes copies of stuff.
Okay. So it's like a copy machine?
Yeah. Probably copies IG. Whatever that is.
I bet we can unlock that other part of the flow chart where we have to cure Alice and Quark, and they're both under, but we only had one Accelerator. I bet we can remember this now, and we can go, oh wait, we can just copy this over there.
Who knows? Ice cream by the gallon?
We'd never have to buy ice cream again. You just buy the one flavor and you're set. Problem is, what flavor? Because even if you have a favorite flavor of ice cream, you always have that other one you wouldn't mind like coming in every now and then. Mine would be like a super dark chocolate cookie crunch. And the other one would be probably a sorbet, actually. Sherbet. Of course, this machine must be here so we can make all the ice cream we want. Are you nuts? Don't call her idiotic, just be nice. In other words, an IG.
Oh, good one.
Can't have too much chocolate? I agree.
Hey, this isn't the time for stupid jokes. There's a helpless child back there in the infirmary who needs our help.
I wasn't expecting that line to ever come out of Dio's mouth. He was right. I hung my head in shame.
At any rate, as long as we don't know what IG means, we can't do anything with this machine, right?
That's right.
IG.
Makes sense. On to the second issue. Sigma, you found a journal and some sort of vial in the safe, right? The
Yeah.
vial. Could you show it to me again? I didn't really get a good look at it before. You guys were in there so close I could barely see it. Was it really Excelavir?
Yeah, definitely. As I spoke, I pulled the vial out of my pocket. See? It's written right here on the label. Excelavir.
You really are an idiot. Although I guess in this case the G in IG stands for guy.
Injection gun. Injection gun replicator. The words were barely out of my mouth when he moved. Before I could blink, the vial disappeared from my hand. Hey, what gives?
What are you doing?
Dio slipped the vial quickly into his coat.
Oh, don't worry. I'll keep it safe. I'll even give it back to you later.
Not later. Give it back
I
now.
don't think so. If you want it back, you're gonna have to listen to my request.
Request?
Yeah, that's what I said. If you want this back, in the next AB game, you have to choose ally.
Oh, is that why you took the medicine to blackmail me?
That's horrible!
What a dick move.
You're using Quark's life as leverage!
Well, I've got some really good reasons to do so.
Because you're a similar-faced jerk who just wants to be a jerk. At least you're good at one
I'll be
thing.
happy to give it back if you just do what I say.
I didn't realize until I started to hurt that I'd curled my hands into fists. If Dio would only give me an opening.
I wouldn't try and take it back by force if I were you. You make any sudden moves and I'll smash it.
He patted his pocket gently.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelavir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
Here's the question, though. His goal, which we don't really know, was to do something here and then get out. Because he came in, we know this stuff. He came in, killed the old lady, took her bracelet. His mission is over. Was it to come in and plant bombs? And then he just needs to leave?
That's not fair.
This game isn't about compassion. It's not about being clever. It's about one thing. How well you can manipulate people to your advantage. How unfair you can be.
This would also explain why we only had the
What are you
one.
gonna do? Ready to promise me you'll pick ally?
Fine. I promise.
Sigma!
Oh, I knew you'd say it eventually. I'm glad you understand how this works. But don't think about trying anything funny. Break your promise and... well, you know what happens. See you chumps later. I'm really looking forward to the next round.
With one last self-satisfied chuckle, Dio strutted out of the room. But then we could all be ready. It's like, by the way, get ready to just tackle Dio so he can't leave. Okay, thanks.
Are you really going to do what he says?
Yeah?
Sigma, you've only got one BP right now.
Oh yeah, he wants
We
to kill
choose
me.
Ally, and he chooses betray.
I know. I'll drop to -1 and that means I'll get penalized.
But that means
Yep. Look, it's not like I want to, alright? If we don't do as he says, then he'll destroy the medicine. If he does that, then Quark will...
so you're going to die to save his life? That's... why would you do that?
Seems like the right thing to me. In all honesty, I was terrified. My choice was far from a foregone conclusion. And I think we actually have two choices. Yeah, we'll pick one or the other. Wow. Oh no, Joy! I don't... Ugh. I hope you can get that. I hope nothing bad happens. Electronics are more resilient to, like, water, but I don't know about soup. Ugh. She gets back to the upper floor. Everybody else is probably finished already. I bet they're waiting for us. Oh. I didn't wait for Clover's response. Something a friend did when their phone got wet was to turn the oven on to like 150 or 200 degrees. And whenever they wanted to dry out electronics, they would just like put it in there. So it was in a dry heat, so it would evaporate anything fast. But have it off. It worked for the phone. I don't know if it would work for a laptop. But then that would probably also mean you'd have to rinse it pretty thoroughly with water, and you already put soup on it. So don't listen to me. I have no idea. That just sucks. I'm sorry. Oof. Yeah, be careful with the heat. I'd say like 100 or 150. Like as low as your oven could go, basically, is my idea. And it's warming up. I mean, outside now is like 70s. In direct sun, it could get warmer, but like it just really depends. It needs to get some dry heat.
Has been opened. 45 minutes.
Sorry, I went ahead and cracked it open a bit early.
One of his hands was a moon key. He twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned, and slid it back into his pocket.
You don't mind, right? I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it'd be best to get this done soon before you lose your nerve. I don't know about you. I'm really looking forward to the next round.
Oh yeah, rice. Good idea. It'll absorb it. Erg. I glanced around the warehouse. Alice and Kay were back. As was Phi. And of course Clover. Where's Tenmyoji and the rest of them?
They're in the infirmary.
We carried Quark to one of the beds. Tenmyoji and Luna are looking after him.
I see.
How's he doing?
Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly, but beyond that, there's really no way to know.
No change then, huh?
Right.
So what was your room, Sigma?
Laboratory.
Is that so?
Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those kinds of things?
Yeah, it did.
Was there any of that Excelivir?
Don't tell those other
Gaza,
idiots
happy
that you
Tuesday.
found some Excelivir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
I hope I remember that right. I think I did. One's on your phone, one's on your PC. My eyes flicked to Dio for a moment. No, nothing. Besides me, Clover, bitter lip. Beside me, bitter lip.
I see.
So, how'd it go with you? Find anything interesting? Maybe? Fi only shook her head. With a unison of movement that almost looked choreographed, Alice and Kay shrugged. Okay.
Where does that leave us? We still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends.
What are you gonna do?
I'm a little curious about that lab you found. I thought I might go take a peek at it.
I'll show you the way then.
That would be wonderful.
I think I'll go have a look at the room Alice, Kay, and Tenmyoji found. Never know. Maybe you missed something. Perhaps there's some Excelivir hidden somewhere in there.
Jerk.
Then I shall take you there.
What about you two? Where are you going?
I think I'll start by heading over to the infirmary to see how Quark's doing.
Then I will too.
Glad that's settled.
She nodded to Clover, and they disappeared through the magenta door. Dio and Kay followed a few footsteps behind. Okay then. Guess we should be going too.
Hold on.
She probably has like women's intuition. She knows we're lied.
Show me that journal first.
Oh, the
Dio told me about it. You wouldn't tell me anything about the lab, except that you found a journal with, his words, some sort of bullshit language. You said you had it, so I was hoping I could take a look.
Oh, yeah. One sec. I dug the journal out of my pocket and handed it to Phi. They're actually collecting a lot of junk. They have to have some good pockets. She began to flip through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each one.
This is Latin.
Latin? You mean you can read it?
Yeah, with time and a dictionary.
So, in other words, no.
Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly.
Yeah, get with the program.
This looks like some kind of research log. It's not gonna be some sort of, I took the dog for a walk today. It was nice kind of stuff. I can understand a little of it. Mostly conjunctions and things like that. But most of these words I've never even seen before.
Oh, great. Vi started to leaf through the book again as she spoke. Then suddenly she stopped.
Wait. I can read this one. Page 216.
Just in case. Journal.
This isn't research notes. It
Journal
looks like a
216.
personal entry.
What's it
Don't
say?
rush me. This is gonna take a minute.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I think I got it. It looks like they're talking about Radical 6.
Where are they talking about that?
Not sure. Let me read it to you. Keep in mind I'm paraphrasing.
Okay. When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. Hold on. My brain stopped because we kind of had slow brain when we were in the security room with Phi. Everything seemed to be going a lot faster. Does that mean at that point we were infected? Anyway, if we assume the brain currently operates on a 1-to-1 basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces that to 1 to square root of 1/6, and or approximately 1 to 0.408. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second passed inside, approximately 2.5 seconds, or square root of 6 seconds, have passed outside. In other words, 10 seconds passed in the real world, the patient infected with Radical 6 would feel only as if 4 seconds have passed. This is why the virus has been termed Radical 6. So if you guys don't know, square root can also be called a radical in math. So saying Radical 6 literally means square root of 6. That's pretty cool. Radical is another term for what is also known as the root. Okay, I just literally said that. Dang it, game! I'm trying to feel smart. You can read. You can read. Yeah, it's... yep. That's what Spiff said. Those affected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The exact cause of this is unclear. And although there is as yet no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction in mental processing speed, many believe that they are not unrelated. Those infected with Radical 6 perceive the world to be moving at a fever pitch, as if it were a video cassette being fast-forwarded. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact, 24.5 seconds have passed. Given this increased speed of input, maintaining the ability to observe and reason would become a Herculean task. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up, it begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of the virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, but we have been unable to develop one. It seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. Thus far, however, we have been unable to locate a suitable subject, so I have continued my efforts to discover an alternative means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, I predict that I will have a workable treatment within a decade or two. It is my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading into and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with a constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarms are so thick that when one passes, it feels as if a cloud had gone over the sun. Every day I see more crows and rats everywhere feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats who have grown fat on plenty of rodent diet. Go cats. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. Please, let their future be a bright one. That's a lot of information. But yeah, that definitely happened when we were in the security room. And it like reset itself though. It's like we were infected for just a little bit and then we passed out and then we like rebooted maybe. Now we know what the virus does to you though. If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of 1/6. That's what 40%?
That isn't the important part. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're right. That'd explain why Quark was trying to kill himself.
There are two other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that?
What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just hadn't found one when this journal was written. I mean, from what we know, there's a drug called Axelavir that cures it.
Exactly. But in the journal it says it might take 20 years to make something like that.
Oh yeah! And as far as we know, it wasn't... Radical 6 wasn't released until, like, now. When was this thing written?
December 29th. No year.
Yeah, what year was it?
Probably not.
What year was it written then?
Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article said something about quarantining people too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
You're saying that this place might be one of those underground shelters? Which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible. And maybe the virus got in somehow.
I think Dio was planned to come and just infect the people here so that they couldn't survive. That'd be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time. Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow. Made us sleep for years, maybe even decades. While we were sleeping, the pandemic that the newspaper article talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
That's possible. Then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up.
Right. It's all just speculation, but...
It's good speculation. No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but we were all captured before the pandemic started, right?
Yeah.
And how would they have put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known to do that? Most importantly, why the heck are we playing the Nonary game if the point of this place is to save us? Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See?
We don't have enough information to make any real conclusions. I think we should see if we can find anything else.
I had barely finished speaking before she took off the magenta door. Weren't you coming to the infirmary with me?
Changed my mind. You could tell me about Quark later.
With that,